Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And today, guys, we're going to be doing a total drama action tier list. As you can see, we have the tier list right here in front of my face. This is the wrong color. That's better. But yeah, we're doing a total drama action tier list. The tiers are example. I have like the same tiers every single video. So yeah, let me just get right into it. So Gwen, I mean, was not that good in action this time around. I'm not gonna say she was bad, but she's decent at best. A big fall off from Island, but I wouldn't say she was bad, like I said earlier, or like a few seconds ago. And the only reason for that is because I do think she was in the right in the trend situation, at least in this season alone. And we'll tour that's a different discussion. But for right now, in action, I do believe she was right in the trend situation, like I just said. But that's pretty much all she did the entire season. What she did basically was Trent was trying to throw the game to her, and she didn't like that, and Trent got upset or whatever, and then she broke up with him, and that's pretty much all that happened. And they teased Gwen and Duncan for World Tour and All Stars later on. So, I mean, it wasn't good because she was only there for a few episodes, and she was literally only involved with Trent and Duncan. But I mean, like I said, she was fine. Oh, by the way, as you can see, I'm recording this an hour before 12 on New Year's. So if you hear fireworks, that is the reason why. But next we have Bridget. Bridget, I mean, she was also decent. I'm not gonna say she was bad, but at the same time, not good. She's very close to dislike, just for the simple fact that once again the aftermaths. Well, not once again. I'm saying this for the first time, but the aftermaths were not good whatsoever. Were not good. They were a struggle to sit through. They were bad. And speaking of the aftermath, let me just get this out of the way. Jeff is the last one on this tier list. He is awful. I'm gonna get to him at the very end, but just know that Jeff is awful. But back to Bridget. Bridget is not as bad as Jeff because Jeff went through like a 180, but Bridget, like she was just around Jeff, and it was just dumb relationship drama. And even before the aftermath, while they were in the game, they were just kissing the entire time, which is not entertaining. I don't know who finds that entertaining, so I don't know why they keep writing that same stereotype with the characters, with some characters that are in like relationships or whatever. So next we have Izzy. Izzy, I mean, she was all right this season. I'm gonna put her in good. She was not great or anything. She was fine. It was basically what she did in Island to a lesser degree because she was in less episodes. Like I said, fine. There's not really much to talk about here. Let me move Beth until later because I don't want to talk about her right now. I will talk about Lindsay though. I do think Lindsay is the best character of the season, and I know I usually say the best character for like later on the list, but this time I will talk about Lindsay now. Lindsay, it was my favorite in Island too. If you watch that video, but I mean, Lindsay, she was just so good this season. I mean, her entertainment was top notch. Just hit every single beat. I didn't really like her with Beth all that much, but outside of that, she was amazing. She was hilarious. I really did like her storyline. Apart from the end, where she voted herself out, that was really stupid. I did not like that whatsoever. But outside of that, I do think that like I well, like when damn, I'm starting like a little bitch, but her storyline where she like is trying to be smarter and she actually pulls off a couple of good moves. I really did enjoy that storyline. So that's why Lindsay is in the top tier. Do I think she would have won? Should do I think she should have won the season? I'll get to that later though. At the end of the video, once I finish with Jeff, of course. Lashana, very good this season. Not as good though, so I'm gonna put her in the great tier. I'm not gonna put her in amazing or anything, but she is close to amazing. There are just a few things that I would have liked to change up. Maybe like be like a tad bit more sympathetic and like I wish it made like a little more sense, especially since like her action, what she did in action, is sort of never referenced again. And I know you can say that about a lot of things, but especially Lashana, it's just never referenced again. Which you would think that would be a pretty big deal with her like betraying the trust and like becoming Heather's friend and shit. But it just wasn't referenced again. Which I mean, it's total drama, so I'm gonna let that slide. But still, that's just something to note. But outside of that, she was pretty much like trying to form an alliance with Duncan and Harold at the start of the season, and then in the one flew over Cuckaroos or whatever the fuck that shit is, or whatever the name is, I don't know. It's something like that. She cried for like the she fake cried for the spa spot where she like got to go to a spot, and then later on, I believe it was $1 million in that episode. I believe that was the episode, anyways. Her she said like mean stuff about the others. I really like that part. She was right about all of them, but like she was right but I don't really think it makes sense for Lashana's character to be talking behind people's back, if that makes sense. But I mean, at the same point, she is a game player. She's not stupid, so of course she wouldn't say it to their. I mean, you could go either way on that. Now that I'm talking about it out loud, you could go either way. Um, like I said, she's close to amazing. I just wouldn't put her there right now. But like I said, not bad whatsoever. Justin, amazing. I mean, his humor. I mean, with Justin, I can understand why you don't like him if you don't like him if you don't like him in action, because they are super flip floppy on Justin. Like one episode he's a villain, one episode he's comedic relief, one episode like he's a doing whatever. But that's what I sort of like about Justin. He's just all over the place, and what I like most about Justin is that he's hilarious. Like almost every single joke, especially in The Princess Bride, this dude is fucking hilarious. Um, like like every single joke of his hits usually. And like I said in almost every single one of my videos recently, humor is subjective. So if you have Justin lower, I would understand. But I do think even though the storyline beats weren't there for him, I'm going to ignore that for once and just focus on the humor, which I rarely ever do. But the humor alone, I do think puts him in the amazing tier and one of the best characters of the season just because of that alone. Um, Next up, we do have Duncan. I'm gonna put Duncan in the amazing tier, but he is close to here. Not nearly as good as he was in Island. There was a drop off there. He's not bad, which is why he's in the amazing tier, of course. But even then is just like there was a significant drop off. There was like a few changes they made to his character. Like I don't know what they were specifically. I know some like they didn't show off his nice side as much, and like I don't know. There's just some few things off about him. I can't pinpoint most of them, but he feels sort of different. Not different in a like different in a weird way, not in a bad way per se, but in a weird way where he just doesn't have as much of charisma as he did in Island, I believe. And I know I'm shitting on him, but even though I have him like an amazing tier, but even then, it just something just didn't click all the way for me with Duncan this season. And so, I mean, maybe there was like a big plot point missing because Harold had like a big, not a big storyline, but he had like a storyline where with Duncan, where he had like overcome Duncan. But with Duncan, his storyline, he doesn't have any development with Harold because Harold is the one trying to not prove himself, but overcome Duncan. Duncan doesn't need to overcome Harold, so that's the difference. And then you have like Lindsay, who's trying to get smarter, and then you have like Justin, who even had like the look storyline where like he kept getting beat up, and then you have Lashonda's storyline, and so on and so forth. All these characters have storylines, but you can't really pinpoint one with Duncan outside of Harold. But he doesn't really develop with Harold. You could say he got a little nicer to him, but even at the end of the series, it still stays the same. Like nothing changed. So I mean, not the end of the series, but like the end of the season, nothing really changed. But Duncan really didn't develop. And even though Harold still doesn't stand up for himself per se, you can still tell the change in Harold's character. He's like more defiant towards Duncan. Duncan really didn't have that development, so that's why I'm having him lower. But still, there is something there that is still good with Duncan, so that's why he's an amazing tier. Courtney joined halfway through the season and immediately made it better. Like from jump, she made it better. Ocean's 8 or 9 is one of my favorite episodes. The entire series, it's so good. The humor in it is just amazing. Like action before Courtney was not all that amazing. Action with Courtney was amazing. Like everything just started clicking with Courtney there. Maybe it was because there was an actual villain presence. Maybe it was because of interactions. I don't know what it was, but something started clicking with Courtney in there. And and that's Courtney's like biggest success as a character this season. Is just how the moment she was in there, everything just started clicking, like I said. And her interactions with Duncan were humorous, not as good as they were in Island, where they were developing the relationship. I do think there was a drop off with that relationship, especially with Courtney getting more like bossy. I do think they went a little too far with that, and I do get it because she is the villain of the season. But at the same time, I do wish they took it back just a notch for the sake of the relationship the two had. But then again, they were planning to break them up anyways, so it is what it is with that. Her interactions with Justin and the Princess and the Bride were hilarious. Her interactions with Harold are always hilarious. Her interactions with, of course, Lindsay were good, amazing shit. And then like even with her interaction with Beth weren't even that bad. So speaking of Beth, I'm gonna have her. Some of y'all are not gonna like this, but I'm gonna have her in this. Like I do not like her this season. I do not. Um, she, I don't know, man. Something me and Beth do not just don't click. if you like Beth, I can see why that's I can say that at least, but with Beth, I mean, it's just oh my god. Oh, I forgot to put Owen on here. Where's Owen? I forgot to put Owen on there. That's my bad. Okay, but anyways, um, like something just didn't click with me and Beth. Like I didn't like the cheating storyline they did with her. Like I forgot to speak on it with Lindsay, but like I'll get to that in a moment. But with Beth, her Brady shit was just so annoying. She cheated on this dude like every single fucking episode. I remember a line she said. She was like, "Oh, I don't want to date Brady." Or it wasn't. This is not an exact quote, but like she's like, "I don't want to date Brady. Brady's just a model. Justin's a supermodel." I'm like, "Bitch, huh?" I'm like, "What? Why are you cheating on a model? You fucking bozo, bro." And then in the finale, on like in her ending, Brady comes in and like it's just like nothing happened. Like she didn't cheat on the dude like 20 times. And so with Lindsay, you're probably like, didn't Lindsay cheat on Tyler? What's the difference? I'm not gonna say no, she didn't. I think they were on a break. I think the show implied multiple times they were not together by the time of action, and you could see this in World Tour because Lindsay specifically said a line. There was she said there was only one guy on the show that I liked was Tyler, and she said liked, and this was before she remembered him, of course. And she said liked, which implies that they weren't together. And there's also some other lines in action that implied they weren't together at the time of action and World Tour, or at least before Lindsay remembered him. So I don't think the flirting with Justin and later on Alejandro, but that's for the World Tour video. So just focus on Justin for right now. I don't think that she cheated on Tyler because I don't think they were together at the time. So I think that's the difference between Lindsay and Beth, and that's why I think Beth gets more slack or like more flack. I mean, than Lindsay does because I do think Lindsay and Tyler were broken up, but the show explicitly, I don't know, explicitly says that Brady and Beth were together as a couple. And even though there was an episode, I think it was 2008 Space Owen. I mean, where she's like, "Oh, me and Brody, I'm gonna break up with Brady to get with Harold." I'm like, "Huh? What the fuck?" It's just so annoying. But and then again, like, there's some other stuff with Beth. It's not just the change storyline. I don't really like her character all that much. I just find her to be quite annoying. And honestly, if you look in between the lines, this bitch is always on Lindsay's ass, bro. Like in a clue, like and get in a clue. She's like, she's siding with Courtney, bro. Like, huh? What kind of a friend are you if you're siding with Courtney over Lindsay? Like even if Lindsay's wrong, you should side with. It's just oh my god. I just find her to be so annoying. But if you like her, I would understand. But it's me and Beth do just not. We do not click, bro. DJ. DJ better than Beth, obviously, as you could tell by my rants, in my opinion, anyways. DJ, in my opinion, is good. Not great because I do wish that the cheating storyline got more attention before the final episode. I forgot what episode it was called where DJ's elimination happened, but I really do wish that DJ got more attention and the storyline got more attention before the final episode. And I do think it would have been a lot better that way. Like maybe just add a couple more scenes in there, and I do think it would have been a lot better. But even then, the storyline was still good, which is why it's in the good tier. But I think it could have been great or even amazing if if DJ I'm not was in, but like if they had more scenes in, if that makes sense. And I wish there was more I could expand upon, but that's pretty much the whole storyline that happened. And his mama stuff was fine too. I just wish it got more attention at the end of the day. I want to talk about Trent before I talk about Bridget. I mean, not Bridget. Harold. Trent is going to go in the dislike in the bad category. Um, they fucked up this man, bro. They fucked up this man. Oh, I do not mean to put them in the dislike. That's my bad. I'll get to that later, though. That's for right now. All right, let me just move on. I'll explain at the end of the video. But Trent, I mean, we all know it was bad. It was so bad. They fucked him up in Island. And even if you don't like him in Island, I liked him in Island. As you could tell by my ranking in the last video, I liked him in Island. So to see this, it's like, what the fuck? What are they doing? And it's just, oh my god. What were the writers thinking with that? Did they? And it's like I see people argue that they like, oh, they wanted him to have a personality. Why? Just keep him the same. He was only in there for like 3 fucking episodes. Like, come on. There's no reason to change his entire character up for 3 fucking episodes. Sure, it might have been boring if he stayed the same and then he got out or something like that. I don't. But boring is better than destroying a character. I mean, come on. And I could explain why the nine stuff is bad, but we already know why. Like everyone knows Trent was bad in action. Like I've only seen like two people in my entire time of being in the fandom, which is like 10 years now or something like that. It's something crazy like that. And it's just like I've probably seen like only like a handful of people agree that Trent was good in action. It's just everyone knows at this point that he was bad. So I'm just gonna move on. So I'm going to save Owen next. Owen was also bad. I will say the first part of his time, while not great, I probably would have had him decent if he didn't come back. But since he did come back, it's just so it was what oh my god. Again, just oh my god. Um, why did he take a spot away from Harold in the final four? Why? It just doesn't make sense to me. They literally eliminated Harold for this fucking bozo to make final three again. Why? The storyline was not even that entertaining. Just have the easy final four of Lindsay, Harold, Duncan, Courtney. That is such an easy final four. It is so easy. So why didn't they do it? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But they insisted on having Owen in there. I don't fucking know why. The comeback was just so dumb. The storyline was dumb. It just didn't make sense. It wasn't entertaining, and he just got eliminated like nothing happened. Like not like he didn't even get like any revenge or whatever. Like no, I mean not revenge, but like he didn't even get any karma for what he did. It's just ridiculous. This whole storyline was bad when he came back, and even the stuff before he came back when he got eliminated, it was not even that good either. So Owen is bad in this season, I believe. Then we have. Do I want to get Heather out? Let me get Heather out of the way. I'm gonna put Heather in out of this world. So this might be surprising because I think most people focus on Island Heather and World Tour Heather, but I think Action Heather is fucking hilarious. Like, oh my, she like if Action succeeds in one thing, it is humor. Oh my, I think Action is the funniest season by far. So, and I'll get to that in the end of the video when I go over the season. But Heather is just so funny. Oh my, it's hilarious. I mean, and like her stuff with Duncan and Harold were so fucking funny, especially in Ocean's 8 or 9. Oh, it's so fun. Like I can just ramble on about how it's funny. And then outside of her being funny, sure there wasn't a big storyline like there was in Island and World Tour for her, but at the same time there were a couple of small storylines with her stuff with Harold, her stuff with Lashana at the end, and her like, and then there's also like her just being like, action. Let me just say this: action was needed for her World Tour run. She needed action more, like a lot, and because I say that because like she wasn't as evil. Like she wasn't nice or anything, but she wasn't as evil. And I do think that pinpoint or like that part of her was needed to be like established that she's not like completely evil. I'm not gonna say like I said, she didn't do nice things in action, but like she wasn't island evil if that makes sense. Like, and she was even like on Lashana's side, so it really showed that Heather could be not nice, but not. I don't want to say not bad, but not like super villain bad, if that makes sense. So I do think action was needed for her World Tour run later on, and like most, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It's mostly the humor on why she's in that top tier. But even then, it's just like you don't need a major storyline all the time. You don't, and I think that Action Heller does that very well. And I'm not gonna say like she had no storyline. I provided example. I just provided examples of small storylines, but yeah, I mean, really good stuff from Heller this season. Really good stuff. Okay, this is my second video and second edit in 2 videos, bro. Y'all better be cheering me on, considering I never do a single edit in my life. But anyways, I was talking about Heather. On second thought, I'm gonna move Heather back down here. I know I was just talking about her being out of this world, but it's hard. It's really hard because to me, what tears me is that you can swap anyone. For example, like you could swap Justin and Beth. I mean, not Justin and Beth, but like Justin and Heather, and I would be fine with it. I'm not really comfortable with swapping Lindsay with Heather, so I'm gonna move Action Heather back down just by one tier. But that's not taking away anything from her. She's still my third favorite character this season. So you're probably wondering who's my favorite character this season, and you can probably tell it is not Jeff. So it is Harold. Harold is my second favorite character of the season. And why? Because he's hilarious too. And but at the same time, he also had development with Duncan and how he handled himself with Duncan in the way that like I was talking about it with Heather, I believe, or Duncan, one of those parts where Harold was the one that was developing in the Duncan feud. I say quote unquote feud. It was a feud actually, never mind. But Harold was slowly but surely, it's not a big change to his character, but he was slowly getting more defined through the season. Like he even in what episode was that? It was the robot one. Shit, I don't have my name on it. Maybe it was no, it wasn't Top Dog. It was one of those episodes with the robots and they were climbing up the mountain. It was one of the final four episodes. Final four one of the episodes the final four ended, I mean. Oh no, it was final five. No, yeah, it's final five, my fault. But regardless of the episode, Harold like punched Duncan right in the face or whatever. And it just goes to show you that he did throughout the season grow more defined of Duncan. And I do think that's good growth. And like I said before, I do wish that Harold was in the final four, and I think he got fifth. He shouldn't have gotten fifth, but I'll get to that later on. But like I said, with Harold, he's funny. He got development. What more could he really ask for? His interactions with Heather, like I said, were hilarious. Duncan were hilarious, and even like Courtney were hilarious. Lashana hilarious. Like all of them were so good, and that's pretty much what you need to be out of this world for me, anyways. Like out of this world for me is that you're an amazing character and you are like every single time you're on screen, almost every single time you're on screen, you're entertaining and like have a good story going for you. Those are my requirements. Except if you're like overly entertaining, if that makes sense. So with that, the last one is Jeff. Jeff, I mentioned him before. Not fucking entertaining at all. Super bad. Complete did like a 180 of his character. Fucking dreadful. Not good. Awful. Whatever word you want to use. Captain Hollywood is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen written in this show. It's just not good. Jeff was not meant to be Chris McClane, so don't make him Chris McClane. It's that easy. So let me move these down where they belong. I do think these. Did I have Owen or I think it was Owen, Beth. I think it was those four in that order, I believe. But regardless, I don't have anyone in dislike. I think it was just I think it was just bad to decent. I don't think anyone. I didn't really dislike anyone this season. I just think they were bad. So these are my action tiers. I'm not gonna really change anything. This is the only one I'm iffy about if moving Heather up there. But I'm gonna keep Heather in amazing for right now. It might change later on. It might change in a week. I don't know. But these are my tiers. So action overall of the season. Like I said, it is the funniest season by far, in my opinion. Like you just have Harold, Lindsay, Justin, Heather, like in some ways Courtney and Duncan, but it's mostly Lindsay, Harold, Heather, and Justin who are hilarious. Like oh, they're so funny. I can't say enough. They're so funny. And like those four really carry the humor of the season, which is Action's strongest point is their humor. Like I don't think you're gonna find any other season that has anywhere near as good humor as this. But Action does lack in a few things too. Um, it doesn't have the vibe that Island did, and what I mean by the vibe is that I, Island just had this feeling to it that Action does not have, and I don't think any other season, including World Tour, which I've already watched at this point, does not have the feeling Island had, and I don't think any other season will ever. Even if they make 100 more seasons, I don't think any season will ever compare to the feeling that Island had. And it's just I don't know what made it work. I think maybe it was the interactions, maybe it was the more contestants in Island that made it good. Maybe it was the challenges. I don't know, but there was something missing. Not missing, but something that was not maybe missing, but maybe yeah. Let's just go with missing. Something that was missing from Action that was in Islands. But like I said, every other season has that quote unquote issue. So I'm not gonna hold that much back with Action. What Action's biggest fault is some of the episodes were not that good. Um, I said this on to my friends multiple times. Action has the highest highs of any season in the show, any season compared to Island, World Tour, Revenge, whatever season you want. It can't compete, but it also has some of the lowest lows of any season. I'm not gonna say it was All Stars bad. Nothing's All Stars bad, but like it was some of it was Pocatello Island bad, and it's just it's not good. Some of it's just not good. So at the end of the day, highest highs, lowest lows. Not lowest lows because I think All Stars is obviously lower, but you take the good with the bad with Action. You take the good with the bad. There were some complaints about filler in Action. I didn't really feel that while watching it. I didn't really feel the filler, but at the same time, I did really feel the bad episodes. But I also felt the good episodes. So it is what it is. But wait, so what do you think? What do I think is better? Island or Action? Maybe I'll do like a big season ranking at the end of this whole watch along or whatever. But for right now, I do think Island is better than Action by a wide margin. I think Island is by far the best season I think I'm going to watch. And that's not a knock on Action. I do think Action is good. I'm going to, if I think Island is like a 10 out of 10. Well, I think Action is like, I don't know, maybe like an 8 out of 10, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10, something somewhere in that range. But that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much more to say. The Action is a, let me just say this, Action is a very carried, quote unquote, carried season. Lindsay, Harewood, Heather, Justin, like all of them were good. Then you have like people down here who were not so good. So I want to do it my way. If you don't know what my way is, that's like making my own. I know I'm railing on here. I'm probably losing viewers, but I don't really care about that. But what I want to do at the end is make it my way. And if you don't know what my way is, it's just an elimination order, how I would write the elimination order. And not to spoil anything, but my final four would have been Lindsay, Harold, Courtney, Duncan, and I don't know what order I would have them in, but that should have been the final four, no doubt. And I do think that's a big issue of the season. It did not have that final four. Owen and Beth being in there, not good, just not good. But like I said, 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Good watch, good watch. Just expect some lows, but also expect some highs. So that's what I think. That's what I think about Action. It's about to be New Year's, so I'll record World Tour tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know, but peace out. See y'all later. I don't know the fuck. Whatever. See y'all.